someone that not only was a student, was one of my coaches, was a great, great friend as well. Richie Paris, coach at Utrecht, played at Utrecht, 60-62, offensive tackles, defensive tackle, excellent blocker, all-city honorable mention. He played beside the other great guards, Phil Mena, and the center, Alfred Celentano. This was a very, very great team, probably the best offensive line in the city at that time. They were really wonderful. Richie was phys ed teacher at Shallow Junior High School. Never missed a day of work, was always there. Worked with McKinley. He was also 1995 Teacher of the Year, which was a wonderful, wonderful honor at that time. I hired Richie to be head coach of the Utrecht when I was AP phys ed, coached here, and when I became head football coach at Brooklyn College, I brought Richard on as my offensive line guard, Phil Mena as my defensive guard, and as many of my Utrecht people as possible, like I always do here, to try to get our people back to work here, make sure they were safe. As a matter of fact, 35% of my faculty, when I was principal, were the Utrecht graduates, which is a big number. And they were really, really great to have wonderful, wonderful people, wonderful teachers. Richard, it's a hard thing to say, but not only was he a good friend, but Martha, his wife, and his son Richard Jr. are here today. The family. I remember when Richard was born, Richard Jr. I remember being Richard in the basement. He used to bust my chops. If he didn't like what I did on the offensive line, he would bust my chops there. Him and Phil Mena would gag up on me, do a number, and then Phil Katz, may he rest in peace, would be another one on my staff that did a number on. All these guys today, unfortunately, like Ernie said, they're gone, but never, never forgotten. I remember them every day, and I have to mention Chip Ciccarelli as well, who always worked for me, and I always had him on as one or the other. You never go a day like today without thinking about all these people that played a role in your life. And it's a wonderful thing to see you guys come back and come as well. I want to have, I know Richard Jr. is not much of a speaker, but I would like him to come up and say a couple of words. And I'd like to have Artie the Bremmer come up also as well. Artie?
Good morning, everybody. Please let me know if you have a problem hearing me.
No.
Sounds okay? All right. Just a quick thing about my experience with Coach Richie Paris. Coach Leibowitz already mentioned his accolades on the football field. I played for Richie, as well as some of my former teammates that are here in outside youth football. We played for Richie at an organization called the Parkville Youth Organization in Bensonhurst. Just to tell you how he impacted my life, I spent my entire career in high school athletics and teaching. One of my mentors, standing right here, was Coach Alan Leibowitz. I was very, very lucky to start out as a junior high school kid in Richie Paris's physical education class at Shallow Junior High School, where he went on to have a great career in both Shallow and in McKinley Junior High School. And like Coach said, he never missed a day of work in 30-something years of teaching. Not one day. Us phys ed teachers and teachers in this room know what that's like, how hard that is to actually not miss a day, 186 days every school year, 10 months out of the year. All right. Played on the powerhouse teams, and Coach mentioned that. And he had an outstanding career in college. As as my junior high school teacher, he motivated me to play sandlot football. I went on to play for him, and then after my sandlot career, he motivated a lot of us. Mr. Video Lever sitting here, Frank Rocha, Anthony Monti, three of his players that, although we were never the Utrecht football players, we still felt as a football coach he had so much to offer so many young people, not only on the football field, but in the classroom as well. So that's why Richie was special. He was special in many ways. All right. When we played sandlot for him, every Monday night we had to be at his house. Martha, his wife, and Richie, his young son, all right, put up with us, although I think Richie weren't around yet, but put up with us back in 74, 75. That's correct.
Eating, and that was good. Yeah.
He inspired me. He pushed me. He said, you love sports, you love kids, you belong coaching and teaching. So in 1979, we got hired by Coach Leibowitz. I became one of his assistant coaches here in Utrecht. All right. I went on to coach again in 2000 here with JV football and basketball. Coach Ronald Sears, so he might be here in the US. He might be getting ready for the game, actually. But his imprint that he left on all of us was lifelong. He believed that we should be lifelong learners, not just for the moment, and it was more about the wins and losses. All right? One of the things I always say to people that I speak to, all right, please tell me who won the last 3 Oscars for the best actor. Please tell me who won the last 3 MVPs in the NFL. You may not be able to say that, but please tell me who were the influential people. Who was your favorite PE teacher? Who was your favorite football coach growing up? Tell me that. Richie pushed me to become a PE teacher. At 26, I had to go back to school because he pushed me to do so. All right? At 52 years old, I became the athletic director of Midwood High School. The best email I got, and I still have it in my house, and I'm retired 11 years, is from that man right there. All right? Between him and Richie Paris, they forged my career, saved my life as a kid in Bensonhurst coming out of the streets. They've done it. Richie did it for thousands of kids through the years. If you think of all the years he was a phys ed teacher and a coach, thousands of kids that you touched their lives. All right? Think of that. I coached for 30 years, 500 kids a year in phys ed at 15,000. Richie did twice as many. That's how important he was. Wonderful coach, wonderful man, great family man. Always should be remembered, along with the other great coaches. I'm proud to stand up here and say a few words about him today. Thank you.
I think it's appropriate. I'm screaming because as a son of a coach and a gym teacher, we've had 2 volumes, off and loud, or that could just be being Italian. But I want to thank you all for this honor. On behalf of my mom, just this really, it's a proud moment for us. The program was such a big part of my life and my dad's life and our life as a family. I think Mr. Leibowitz, this was the second home, right? And I know many of you share that feeling as alumni of the program. My dad, this was something that was very important throughout my whole life growing up. And I just want to thank you all for, recognizing him and just speaking to everyone about their own personal memories of how my dad helped maybe craft who you are today. I know I can speak personally for that family. And I think a lot of the great stuff that we do in football is actually important for life, like motivating teams and getting people excited about things and coming up with a strategy and goal setting and inspiring people to be their best. And And that's all because my dad was, I think, a great coach and a great human. And again, all of you are part of our family, and I just want to thank you for this honor. So thank you all.
Gary.
You know, it's really scary when I look at Richard Jr. I have a feeling that it looks a little bit like Richard Sr.
Congratulations.
You know, and that's what happens. You always have a legacy that comes back. Arthur gave me a good story the other day when I emailed her about Richard finding going up to his attic and looking and finding his old jacket or it was falling apart. And it had the chenille gear on it and whatever was on it. So he was devastated. So naturally, Martha, being Martha, went online, found the jacket, went over to Gulf Street Avenue over here to a seamstress, had it sewed on. Richard started wearing it again, and he's happy as a pig in shit. So that's the bottom line of this point. So Richard's really a great legacy. You see, these not the memories, but they're more legacy. Because we all live for you people. We all live for you people. Whatever we do, you tell stories. The bottom of lies, but you tell stories. All right? We're going to move on. Oh, the next one, I don't know if I can deal with this one. This one played for me. Harold Anderson. I used to call him the utility player. He was a skinny little kid. Very, very skinny. I said, what could this kid possibly do? Manny would say to me, sit him on a bench. And then I said, no, we're going to play him. We're going to play him. And sure enough, he had great speed. He was a tailback. He was safety. Wherever I needed him, that's where Harold went. That's where he played. He was an all-city second-team player and a returner, punt returner, number one in the city in 1972. Harold. He had punt returns for TDs in 71 against Lafayette. He played Lafayette. You don't like to use that name, even though my wife remembers it. I forgave her 60 years ago for going to Lafayette. But the bottom line is, Harold had punts of 57 and 90-yard returns. He sealed that victory 26 to 14. He led the city in punt returns to 72, received a football scholarship to AIC, where later he coached from 1977 to 79. He went on to coach at Boys High, and I was very happy when he came out that I was able to give him the recommendation to be at Boys High at that time and coach. He was always very, very special. Always very respectful, always special. He always had a little bit of an attitude, which I think he still has. But that's fine. There was nothing wrong with that attitude. Because I used to say to him, Harold, look me in the eye. None of these phones, none of this garbage anymore. I said, look me in the eye. And then his head would go down, and I knew he was listening. And I knew everything was going all right for us. He's really unbelievable. He became a principal in elementary school. He still coaches football at Eagle, one of the Eagle high schools, which is, we played yesterday. I don't know how he did yesterday, but I'm not asking. I think they lost, but I'm not asking. And the bottom line is, he is really a wonderful person, a wonderful family man. Met his wife today, and I think that's wonderful that she put up with him. And he deserves a medal, let me tell you. Harold, would you like to come up here? Is there anyone?
coach says, do you want to speak? Good morning to everyone. The Utrecht High School is really, really, really important to me and molded my life. There was two people besides my parents who helped me become the person I am. And that was Charles Ciccarelli, who coached me in junior high school, where we was almost the city champions in basketball, and this man, Alan Lehman. Now, both of those gentlemen, when I graduated from this school and went to AIC, they didn't just leave me alone. There wasn't no phones really, but they sent letters or talked to the coach at AIC to make sure I was on the straight and narrow. Last year I came up here to celebrate Frank Grandy, who went to school with us at AIC, and it was so emotional for me. This school and this gentleman right there saved my life. Now, just a little bit, and I'll share a little bit. I came to Dyker Heights in 1967. Whoever's been living that time should know what kind of world we were living in. Now, I'm a black kid coming out of Bedford-Stuyvesant. Never left Bed-Stuy pretty much. Never left New York City until I went to football camp. And didn't know white people. And I got there, and Coach Ciccarelli took me under his arm. And all you from Bensonhurst, Dyker Heights know that Ciccarelli and Coach Leibowitz control the community. So I felt safe. But there was a lot of times my friends and others didn't. And I appreciate this school and this gentleman and Coach Ciccarelli because I survived. And it was hard. I just want to let everybody know, for anybody who's younger than me, and for those kids who out there getting ready to play, I hope the coaches are doing the same thing. Because this world seems to be rolling back. And without people like Coach Leibowitz, it will turn into the same thing when I first came out here. So that's why I stay in education. That's why I'm still coaching to this day. Because I believe I have something to give back. And that's only because of Coach Leibowitz. And the family, like Eddie DeLessio, who I've known since I was 11. You know, Utrecht is family. And I'm truly appreciative of this award, and thank everybody for being here.
Before I let Howard go sit down, he brought something up that's very close to my heart, very close to our football family here. When you look around here, we have white, black, Asian, whatever we are, Hispanic. I think that's wonderful. That's camaraderie. That's the way it is. When I look out here and I hear Howard speak, it does my heart good. Because you people are too young to remember that in the 60s or 70s, when I became an AP of phys ed, the Utrecht had open enrollment for the first time. And what happened was we had some black students that wanted to play football and came off the train. And we had a lot of neighbors that were not happy about that, which made me very unhappy. As a matter of fact, the building here was closed, I should say, not officially, but we were closed like for 3 months and let kids in. I can tell you something that my family knows, and not many people do know. We conducted football practice, even though we had a problem. We had several black students whose parents were afraid to let their children come to the Utrecht at that time. My wife will tell you that early in the morning, I used to drive